These are all players. That's right, every single soldier you see right now. Each player belongs to a clan, and each clan belongs to a team. And these two teams will go head to head in this 500 player battle between Bretonnia and the Coalition. We start our battle today on the Bretonnian side, as the many dukedoms form up under the banner of their king, Lewin Leoncourt. Their enemy, the Coalition, have invaded Bretonnia and have ransacked the castle on the horizon. Scouts report that they have formed a defensive line around a nearby mill in anticipation for the Bretonnian counterattack. The ground is elevated, making this position ideal for archers. The Bretonnians will need to use their infantry, archers, and cavalry effectively to win the fight today. Looking on the horizon there, we can see the Coalition forces setting up. That is going to be a brutal hill to attack. The Bretonnians form a shield wall, and the archers form a line behind them and begin firing volley after volley at the enemy. They're nicely protected from the return fire. And this is it! The order to advance has been given. They must take the hill from the Coalition. As we move forwards, remember that every single one of those flags represents a real clan with a captain and the men within. They'll be following orders from their individual commanders. Just like Fulcard de Montfort here, him and his men are forming the Bretonnian Reserve. They'll be looking to see what happens on the battlefield and adapt accordingly. As we approach the Coalition main lines, it becomes clear that a ridge separates the forces down the middle. The Bretonnians are forced to separate and attack from each side. It's risky because now their forces are divided. Let's hope the Coalition don't focus down one flank. The Bretonnians charge the Coalition left flank and the fight is now underway. But wait, the Ome Guard from the Coalition jump off their cliffside and get behind the Bretonnian forces. That right there is an advantage that only the Coalition have due to their positioning. Well played. If they can cause enough havoc and chaos in the back lines, that might just cause the Bretonnian front to crumble. As we move over to the Bretonnian left, it's clear that this is the definition of an uphill battle. The archers from the Coalition there are doing a good job picking off some of the Bretonnians from afar. To be fair, the Bretonnians aren't doing a bad job in the middle. They're making some steady progress. However, the Coalition on the far left are coming in from behind now. It is not looking good for the Bretonnian forces. They are getting surrounded. Let's head over to the other side of the battlefield. Perhaps the Bretonnians are making better progress over here. However, it does look like the Coalition are also cleaning up on this side. I hate to say it, guys, but I think this one's going to be a Coalition victory. The Bretonnians retreat from the battlefield for day one. However, they're going to regroup, reconsolidate their forces, and try attacking the hill once again on the morrow. We've fast-forwarded to the next day, and the Bretonnian cavalry are out in force. They're scouting the Coalition positions. And not a moment too soon, the Coalition can be seen moving reinforcements into position on the hilltop. Their center is being formed by Coronis Ibericus, Almagavas, and the Ome Guard. They spot the Bretonnian cavalry and ward them off with archers and cavalry of their own. SVCI have been deployed to the left flank. It's going to be their job to hold down this side. Currently, it's very quiet. Nothing seems to be approaching. In the Coalition center, it's exactly the same. Where are the Bretonnians? They're nowhere to be seen. Men have been spotted emerging from the forests behind the Coalition positions. What on earth is going on? Various flags are emerging from the tree line, and these do not look like Coalition allies. The Bretonnians have managed to get behind the Coalition forces and are now attacking them from the rear. Fantastic play. This is looking much more hopeful. Unlike before, they've got nothing that can divide their forces. They have a clear path of attack towards the Coalition hilltop. It looks like they're going all in on the right flank and playing slightly more defensive on the left. I think the tactic here is for the right to clean up while the left hold off the superior coalition numbers for as long as possible, allowing their allies to sweep in from the side. And the fight is now in full swing. The coalition know time is of the essence, so they are pushing the left side hard. But look in the back lines there, Bretonnian cavalry charging into the rear of the coalition. They're going to be racking up so many kills. And just like clockwork, the Bretonnians charge up the hill, making the most of the chaos. The coalition did not expect this rear attack. However, they do have the advantage with archers on the hill with a nice view down. But they've got to watch out for cavalry like this one here. Fortunately, they get him off his horse just as he comes round the mill. The fight is in full swing. Both teams now are in the killing phase where they just have to rack up as many kills as possible. I do see a heavy presence from the coalition coming round on the left here. Let's hope the Bretonnians are equally successful on the other side. Oh no, that right-hand attack seems to have run out of steam. They just didn't have an answer for those archers. Cassian of Parabon gets knocked off his horse, tries to get the archers, but gets taken out. Well played to the coalition once again. After another successful defense, the coalition forces sally out deeper into Bretonnian territory. After much counsel, the coalition leaders decide to head directly through this swamp, as skirting around the edges would give the Bretonnians too much time to reassemble their forces. So far so good, not a single enemy in sight. It's quiet, too quiet. It's suspicious that there's no Bretonnian resistance whatsoever. The coalition pause and send their cavalry around the flanks to check it out. Meanwhile, Bretonnian reinforcements arrive under the watchful gaze of Dangorn of Castan. The men of Montfort lead the march towards the enemy positions. We've got Folcard there at the front, we saw him earlier. We also have the men of Languille. These are one of the newer dukedoms within the Bretonnian kingdom. Normally led by Talbot, today it's being led by one of his second in command. We've also got one of my favourites, Aquitani, in their blue and yellow armour. Their leader Armand forms part of the Bretonnian cavalry. The rest of the Bretonnian forces rush towards this side of the swamp. Remember, the coalition are heading across. It's down to the Bretonnians to get to the other side before the coalition arrive. And with that in mind, they pick up the pace. We've got the entirety of the Bretonnian army here. The coalition won't be expecting this many numbers. As we pan around, you'll be able to see the positions of both armies. They're about to descend on each other, and a battle is about to begin. Back in the swamps, the coalition have come to a complete stop. They've seen the Bretonnians forming on the ridge and have decided to play defensively. Moving away from the mill on that defensive hilltop might have been a bad idea. They've now found themselves in a precarious position as the Bretonnians surround them. Their front lines move into position and stop meters away from the coalition line. The coalition move up to match and a staring contest begins. But who will blink first? It looks like Coronis and Bericus here are the first to charge in. The battle is well and truly underway. If the coalition fight well, they might be able to push through. But the forces of Bastogne and Brion charge into their flanks. That's going to be extremely damaging. While Bastogne gets straight into the melee, Brion decide to head towards the Bretonnian centre where backup is desperately needed. If you look closely, you can see the lines are drawn. The coalition are fighting with their back to the swamps. The Bretonnians are defending their hillside, trying to make sure the coalition take no more ground. And this is it, guys. The time for tactics is over. The time for fighting has begun. The coalition are desperately trying to fight their way out of the swamp right now, while the Bretonnians are defending their homeland from invasion. Oh, but what's this? The Bretonnians can sense the advantage. They begin a massive push down the centre. The coalition front lines are crumbling as they get pushed back. This is the last stand of the coalition. The remaining few men get chased down and cut down. They had a really strong start defending that hilltop. It looked like they were going to win the day. However, the Bretonnians brought it back at just the last moment with a final victory that's driven the coalition out of their land. Guys, before we go today, if you want to get involved, these clans accept all members, experienced or newbie. All you have to do is join one of them. I'll put links in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.